Hi you guys and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'll be showing you how to make meatball curry. This recipe has a lot of steps, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I have 7 tablespoons of chana dal that I soaked for about an hour. I am going to blend this, kind of make it into a paste. And that's what it looks like. Next I'm going to blend some dried red chilies, chile de árbol, some green onions, some green chilies. I use serrano chilies. This right here, it's cumin seed and coriander seed. 2 green cardamom, a little piece of cinnamon and 4 cloves, black peppercorns, and some curry leaves. Just gonna blend these all up. Alright, and there's that paste. I actually went ahead and added some ginger and garlic paste, 2 tablespoons before I blended it. I forgot to mention that. Now, I'm using ground beef. You can use any ground meat, chicken, goat, whatever you want. And I need to blend this to make the meat finer. So look at the meat, how it looks now, so you can see the difference when I show you what it looks like after. Alright, and that's what the meat looks like. I'm using 1 pound of ground beef. So you might want to rewind the video to see what it looked like beforehand. But this just, makes it really, really fine and makes really good meatballs. Alright, so now we're going to add some spices on top. Actually, before that, I want to mention something. I don't have a food processor, so all the baby steps I just did, I had to do them this way because I'm using a little NutriBullet to blend everything. But if you have a food processor, you can literally just combine all the previous steps that we just did and just throw it all together into the food processor, and it's way easier that way. For the powders, I have half a teaspoon of cumin powder, half a teaspoon of turmeric powder, half a teaspoon of coriander powder, and 2 teaspoons of red chili powder. Now we're going to mix all of this with a spoon or by hand. Okie doke, don't forget the salt. I almost forgot to mention that. Add salt to taste. Alright, this is what everything looks like mixed up. If you see in some places, like right there, there's some of the chana dal that didn't get blended properly. If you have a food processor, you won't have that problem because it should all be blended all the way through. So it's not supposed to be like this, like mine is. Well, like I said, I don't have a food processor, so that's why it's like this, but yours shouldn't if you use a food processor. Now we're gonna make this mixture into little meatballs. If your mixture seems a little too wet to make it into meatballs, feel free to add some basin, some garbanzo flour into it, and let's make little meatballs. Alright, here what the meatballs look like once I'm done forming the meat into little balls. Alright, now we are going to gently fry the meatballs. It's not like a deep fry, it's kind of more to just sear the edges. I got about 30 meatballs with the 1 pound of meat, so I'm going to do it in 2 batches. This is the first batch. Alright, the meatballs are done. Now I'm going to add 1/4 cup of peanuts into the oil and just fry these a little bit. We're going to blend these into a paste with water. This will just help thicken the gravy of the curry. Once you fry the peanuts, add a little water and blend into a paste. Set the paste aside, we'll be using it for later. In here I have 1 whole tomato in the bottom and 1 whole onion, both of them chopped, and I'm going to blend this into a paste. Okay, here's the paste. Now we can start cooking. Heat some oil in a pan. I'm using the same pan and the same oil that I used to fry the meatballs in. Now we are going to add just a sprinkle of cumin seeds, like a little pinch. Let these snap, crackle, and pop a bit. Then we are going to add the paste. Just be very careful because it might splutter all over the place. You can turn the heat off and then add it. Once the paste is in there, stir it around for about a minute or 2, and then we are going to add some ginger and garlic paste, 1 big tablespoonful. Alright you guys, I added some spices in. 1/4 teaspoon garam masala, 1/4 teaspoon of cumin powder, 1 teaspoon red chili powder. The turmeric powder there disappeared, but it was 1/4 teaspoon, and then half a teaspoon of coriander powder. Now just stir this and cook it for a few minutes. Alright, I added a pinch of salt, a little bit of water, and then the peanut paste that we made earlier. Now cook this for a few minutes and we can add the meatballs. Alright, the mixture came to a boil after a few more minutes, and I went ahead and added the meatballs. They're in there. So now I'm going to cover this and cook it on low heat for like 10 minutes. And then we just have to dry out the water and the curry's done. Hi you guys, I had to start a second video because my memory was running out. Okay, so where we left off, I told you to put the curry on low heat for about 10 to 15 minutes. So this is what it looks like after that. Now let's just stir this around just a little bit, just to gently move them. You don't want them to fall apart. And then we're going to cook this down until the gravy is to the thickness of your choice. If you like it like this, then it's done. Just check for salt. But I want mine a little on the thicker side, so I'm going to cook it down a bit more. Alright, I just want to show you guys the consistency real quick. See, like, it's way watery. Some people like watery curries, but I think this is still too watery. I mean, even if that's the kind of curry you like. I say cook it without the lid for at least 5 to 10 more minutes. Keep an eye on it, and then it should be done. Go by your taste, but that's my recommendation. So we'll see you guys back in a few minutes. Alright you guys, the curry is done. Let me show you the consistency. This is how I like it. Like super thick. Alright, so you guys cook it until it's the consistency you guys like. And at this point, you can plate it up, like serve it up in a bowl, and put some cilantro on top. But unfortunately, I don't have cilantro, so I can't do that. But if you have it, do it. It gives it a really nice taste, and it looks really cute. Alright, you guys, here is the curry we're about to eat. Served up half of it. So I hope you guys give this recipe a try. Don't forget to add the cilantro at the end if you have it. And until next time, enjoy!